Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So here's a newly updated deck profile for Salamangreats, this time for the post-July 2021 ban list. So Miragstallio is finally legal again, thank God, because I've been waiting for that card to come back from the ban list. And honestly, that card really puts a lot of extra consistency with this deck. And now that the Salad engine isn't as compact as before, you can definitely run more combo pieces, but still trying to stick to the control-based strategy, just to kind of like put a dent on your opponent's plays and yeah, just kind of OTK them on the next turn. So anyway, it's still 40 cards in the main deck and yeah, we'll just get started from here. So anyway, starting off with the basics, one Gazelle, it's still limited. I'm now playing Salamangreat Foxy at 3 because this is one of the best normal summons. It's a pot of duality, but it's also good for its graveyard effect because you could essentially pop a back row. And yeah, it's just one of the best cards. I'm still playing Spinny to 2. I may bump this up to 3 if some of the card ratios that I put in don't work out as well as I think they will. But yeah, I think 2 Spinny's still just fine. Again, you mostly want to see Foxy a little bit more. And not to mention Spinny's super easy to get into the graveyard anyway. So yeah, it's just like, as long as you have these 2 out, you can easily go into Miragstallio and just go from there. Next, 2 copies of Jaguar. This is still one of the best recruiters, as well as 1 copy of Falco. Falco, brings back your back rows, so yeah. And not to mention it bounces back one of your salad monsters back to your hand, special summons itself too, so not bad for an extension piece as well. Alright, now moving on to the other Cypress engine. I'm running 3 copies of Flame Buffalo still. I'm not running Debug. Debug is just too vulnerable to every hand trap, where this card, not only do you get to draw 2 cards, but you essentially get to play around certain hand traps like Ash Blossom, so as long as you can chain block it, you should be fine. Next, 3 copies of Parallel Exceed, another good extender piece, and helps you get into some rank 4 plays. And of course, 1 copy of Sea Archiver. This card is making a comeback into the strategy simply because it's an extender. As long as it's in your hand or in your graveyard, as long as you link summon or if you summon a monster to a link arrow, you can special summon this card from your hand or in your grave. So, but it has to banish itself. But you're going to use it for a rank 3 play like Miragstallio anyway, so yeah, this card will always basically recycle itself. So yeah, 1 Sea Archiver is all you're gonna need. All right, and now we're moving on to hand trap. So my hand trap lineup's a little different this time around. In fact, I'm running a little bit more this time too. So for sure, you're still gonna be playing 3 copies of Ash. Ash is a fire monster. There's no reason not to run it. It can be recycled through Sunlight Wolf's effect. So yeah, I'm running 2 copies of Ghost Bell. Ghost Bell is actually really good this format. So don't sleep on this card whatsoever, especially against the Tri Brigade matchup. You want to hit their trap card, Tri Brigade Revolt, if I'm not mistaken. That's the card you want to hit with Ghost Bell. I'm running 2 copies of Phantasme simply because I still think Link monsters are going to be prevalent this format. Again, Tri Brigade. We also have Invoke Shadal, which they do use some Link monsters too, so just bear that in mind. I think, like, even though they don't go too crazy, I think there's going to be, like, so many strategies that are going to use a couple of Link monsters, and this card basically just fixes your hand. Not to mention, there's also going to be a lot of rogue strategies, too. Salad's going to be one of those strategies. Dragon Link, I still think is playable, so you may still encounter those from time to time, so just be ready for it. But it's also good for insurance for going second, too, so that's why I'm still running 2 Phantasme. I'm still not sure how I feel about it, but if it doesn't work out, maybe this will make its way into the side deck instead, and I'll play something else over this. Either that or just max out the Spinny like I said I would. But yeah, like, I think Phantasme is still pretty decent right now, but again, we still don't know where this format's really going. And not to mention, we still got some new strategies coming out very soon. So yeah, like I said, it's just kind of insurance purposes and nothing more than that. All right, so moving on to spells already. 3 Silent Mining, one of your best searcher cards. I'm still sticking to 2 Desires because 3 sometimes can screw you over. Yeah, some people will say, yeah, 3 is the correct number, but I think 2 is just fine. You're running a lot of draw cards like Buffalo and Phantasme, so Pot of Desires at 2, I think it's just fine. 2 Will the Salamangreat. I don't really like playing this at 3 simply because, it can be a brick, but it's also really good because, it's a Monster Reborn, it's a Soul Charge, I'm sorry, I was about to say Soul Exchange, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So, for 1 Notice, 1 Called by the Grave, 1 Sanctuary, and 1 Circle. Circle on draw phase is broken, so yeah, that's pretty nuts. And for traps, I'm running a little bit more. Well, not nearly as many as I was before, but still running 3 permanents and 2 of each of the Salad trap cards, 2 Rage, 2 Roar. I felt like these were really good, and plus with cards like Pot of Desires, I just want to make sure still have at least 1 copy each. but you should be able to dump these out off of the effect of Gazelle anyway and recycle them later on, so you should be fine. I'm not running Solemn Strike anymore simply because it's just it's only good going first, really, and not to mention paying not half your life points, but paying life points to use it can sometimes cost you the duels, so you just got to be wary of that. I'm not saying it's a bad card, it's just like it just has to be used for the right deck is what I'm saying. Alright, so moving on to the extra deck. So pretty standard. I'm running Balinks back to 3 again. I'm no longer running All Mirage since I don't really need it anymore. So again, the engine is not nearly as compact as it was before, so at this point I don't really need All Mirage. So yeah, I think 3 Balinks is still fine again. 3 Sunlight Wolf, 2 Heat Leo. I cut Splash Mage and decided to bring back Nightmare Phoenix simply because Miragstallio does have that restriction effect where it locks you into using the effects of fire monsters, and Nightmare Phoenix is a fire monster, so if you need to pop some back row and draw a card, this is going to be the best card to do that. But again, you can still go back to the Splash Mage option if you want to, but again, I think Nightmare Phoenix is fine, and plus it adds protection to your Sunlight Wolf from being destroyed by battle, so I mean, I figured why not. I'm still running the Update Jammer package, so 1 Update Jammer, 1 Transcode Talker, and 1 Access Code. I know this card has gotten expensive. Hopefully it'll be in the Mega Tents. I hope. But if you don't have access to this, some people are opting to play Salamangreat Pyro Phoenix as a budget option simply because it's a one-sided nuke. So if you have Pyro Phoenixes, I would play that engine. But in general, the Update Jammer and Transcode Talker package by itself should be just fine. You don't really need access code 100% of the time. So yeah, it's just there to close out games really. But again, if you feel like you need to use something that's low budget, try the Pyro Phoenix deck and see how you like it for yourself. Alright, so that's it for the Link monsters. Now for the Xyz monsters. We're bringing back the boy Miragstallio, so this is an extender. You can special summon a Salamangreat monster directly from your deck by detaching the material, and it's also a compulsory evacuation device based effect whenever you use it for Link material. So yeah, really glad that this card's back. Still running 1 Bagooska. Bagooska is still pretty good right now. Also running 1 Abyss Dweller. Abyss Dweller's nuts this format, so we are using a lot of graveyard effects. So yeah, Abyss Dweller can really put a damp on your opponent's strategy. Alright, and then of course for the side deck's a little different now. I'm playing 3 copies of Drone Logbird. This is primarily for the Tri-Brigade and Drytron matchups. 2 Nibiru. I think Nibiru is still going to be really good right now, so yeah, definitely a good side option. Actually running 3 copies of Forbidden Droplets too, because again, going second, this card's going to be really good. And plus, Salamangreat can recur all of its resources very effectively. So yeah, I think Forbidden Droplets is highly underrated right now, or highly underestimated right now, so don't sleep on this. Like, Dark Ruler No More is still a great card, but at least with Forbidden Droplets, it's a quick play spell, and plus you can still do some damage over Dark Ruler No More. It's still pretty good. And plus, this card is finally getting a reprint in Brothers of Legend, surprisingly. So yeah, and we might see this getting a reprint in the Mega Tents too, but again, like, don't invest on it just yet, just wait on it. So if you don't have access to it right now, like, maybe play another hand trap, like maybe Artifact Lancia. I heard that card's still pretty good, but we still gotta wait to see like where this format really shapes up. So, but yeah, I still love Forbidden Droplet. Still one hell of a card, especially if you're dealing with like Drytron, because you know they like to do all those negates. Tri-Brigade, you know, you just want to make sure you get around that barrier statue, and yeah, that's pretty much it really. But anyway, moving on to Cosmic Cyclone. Since Sky Striker also got a card back, mainly Engage, they're going to be playing Mystic Mine, and this is a good card to deal with it. I'm not too worried about Mystic Mine as a whole anyway, because, you know, the main deck itself already has back row removal, but, you know, just a little bonus never hurts. And it's also good to deal with Floodgates, too, if you happen to come across any form of control strategy. 2 Torrential Tribute. This is really good. Also, mainly if you're only going first, though. Because, like, if you can get a well-established board, you can this has really good interaction with Salamangreat Balinks, so that way, like, you can blow out your opponent's monsters without blowing out your own. So, like, yeah, Torrential Tribute with Balinks together is pretty busted. Another cards to deal with Sky Striker, Anti-Spell Fragrance, and Impure Order. I really don't want that deck to play, so yeah, Anti-Spell Fragrance and Impure Order is such a nasty combo. And not to mention, Anti-Spell Fragrance is just good overall because it stops the Dogmatica Invoke Shadal. Or any other spell-reliant deck, so Anti-Spell Fragrance can be one hell of a card. And if you need to, you could pop it yourself later with Salamangreat Foxy, Imperial Order. You can get rid of it with Droplet if you need to. So yeah, like it just plays a huge stall game. And again, it's just nasty having both of them together. So figured I'd try it out, and yeah, so far I'm liking it. So anyway, that's all I got. So hope you guys enjoyed this, and as always, I will catch you guys again next time.